Thank you, Alfonso. All right. Well, Fred is getting ready. Let me tell you about the session that he'll be facilitating. Pontoon is a company, they transform data into intelligence, and they have a skilled team of business intelligence specialists that leverage a wide array of different processes and tools to consult and co-develop their customers' clients' talent strategy. And it helps cultivate and place the right talent in the right roles at the right time. We've heard that before, but in this workshop, we'll examine the APAC hiring trends and the increasing usage of talent analytics to make workforce decisions. And to review that and to conclude this workshop, Frederik Otto, their Director of Client Services, focused on the financial sector here at APAC, is going to walk us through that. He's got experience in recruitment in both EMEA and APAC, spanning over the course of the last 7 years. So, Freddie, glad you're here. I'll let you hand that out. If you need any help, let me know. And take us right into the evolution of talent analytics. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks. 1 second, guys. So we have a lot of polling coming up, so if you want to have your mobile phones handy, it's going to be the same website actually as the Tim was it at this morning. I hope it's going to work, so I'm talking between PowerPoint and the actual website. Can you see this? Okay, great. So we'll come to this in a second. Lovely. Wieder die movie stars. So,
that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, great. Okay, so it sounded like we are a data analytics company. We actually aren't. For those of you who don't know Pontoon, so Pontoon is the solution arm, meaning the RPO and MSP arm of the Adecco Group, the largest workforce solution company in the world. I've only been with Pontoon for 3 weeks, believe it or not, and on my first day, that was a Tuesday, I had an email in my inbox saying, Freddie, you have been selected to speak on the HRO conference in Hong Kong. I actually live in Singapore. And it's going to be about talent analytics, aka data analytics. And when I hear the word data analytics or data in general, I'm usually like, ooh, okay. I always think about, very mathematical or statisticians coming up with these kind of numbers, but essentially what it is just information, and essentially what we do every day, I'm sure each and every one of us is engaging with data. So I'm trying to demystify a little bit the word data or analytics and make it a bit more real. I'm essentially a salesman. I come from business development. I've been in client and business development for 12 years. And so I'm well accustomed to numbers, that's for sure. And I'm trying to bridge the gap a little bit between data, what it means, and how can we apply this in our daily work. There's the lift of the rocket. And that is actually a picture that my wife's taken a week ago at 7 a.m. in the morning. So it's not my favorite picture. I look still a bit tired on this one. Like I said, I've only recently joined Pontoon, but I've been 7 years in the talent industry. I used to work for a large British staffing company for 7 years before that. I've been 2 years in Asia, with my base being in Singapore. and I'm absolutely delighted to now lead the client engagement for Pontoon in Asia Pacific. I look after our existing banking financial services portfolio, but I'm also leading new sales processes for RPO and MSP programs throughout all of Asia Pacific. Right, so talking about talent analytics in the APAC region. So I'm personally absolutely fascinated by this region. If we just read this statement here, over 3 in 5 people worldwide currently live in the APAC region, representing well over 50% of the total global workforce. Obviously, you all know this, but when you come from a small village in Germany like I do, this is quite a statement, and I think it's worth reminding ourselves every day what an exciting region we actually live in. I've worked all over continental Europe and in the UK, and I find that especially emerging economies in Southeast Asia, such as Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, are actually really interesting markets. Obviously, we have the digital transformation piece, which is, which in Singapore you hear a lot about AI, robotics. It's going to come tomorrow. It's going to put everyone out of a job. And in fact, IBM came up with a study saying actually 100% of all roles will change with AI. But that doesn't mean that we will be put out of job. It just means that, the search for talent and the way we engage with talent is going to be very, very different than it used to be before. And cybersecurity risk, and I'm sure that's not only the case in Asia, but all over the world, obviously is a top priority for every company as well. Right. So analytics are gaining traction. Analytics can guide solutions for complex business challenges, including recruitment, performance measurement, and compensation. Now, a very abstract statement, but what it essentially means is that the better you get your talent engagement and your data engagement right, or the data engagement that leads to talent engagement, the more tangible the outcome is going to be. And I was absolutely fascinated by this number here that's from the Deloitte study that says by 2025, HR analytics could account for an increase of 275 basis points in profit margins. So that's almost 3% increase in profit margin of the company just through having the right analytics culture, just having a right and kind of level engagement with your data. And 71% of companies across APAC view people analytics as a high priority in their organization. And I think that is actually pretty high, because when we look at the next slide, we have an overview of the data culture by region. My people who put this together left Europe out of this. I sent an email to them yesterday night and I just realized I haven't got a response yet, so I'm sorry. It's just APAC, UK, and the USA. But what we can see a clear trend here, APAC is on the forefront when it comes to engaging with your data, engaging with analytics. APAC has the strongest people analytics culture throughout all regions that were called here throughout the world. So what are the characteristics, again English is my mother tongue, of people analytics culture? And this slide I think is very well done. It has 3 points here. First point being, people managers seek out data for decision making. So in the people analytics culture, you have engagement managers, to put it in Alfonso's words. Is it Alfie your nickname?
Alfie.
Okay, Alfie, right?
Unless you're my mum.
So people managers seek out data for decision making. These are your engagement managers, your hiring managers. They actively look to engage with data. They communicate the value and importance of data to their colleagues, and they actively use people data to make business decisions. So not gut decisions, but really use intelligence they have to bring their business forward. So businesses with a people analytics culture have differentiating behavioral characteristics in how they access, share, and use data. Now, coming to our first poll. Please take your phones out, and this obviously works best as the more people polling we have. Pollf.com/pontoons20 226. I'm going to go to it now.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, that was the point. Pollev.com, Pontoon S226. So you will now be able to poll, and our question is, do you believe your organization has a people analytics culture? I've got to go back to it. I'm also going to show you, you've got that? pollev.com/pontoon S226. This is how we define the people analytics culture. Managers seek out data, they communicate the value and importance of data, and they actively use people data to make business decisions. Do you believe the organization has a people analytics culture? Wow, that's a good result. They got 11 say yes, 6 say no, nobody's unsure, that's pretty good. Okay, so that just shows that the people in APAC or HR managers in APAC feel that there's generally a higher or have a higher engagement with their analytics and have a better analytics culture than most other countries or regions. Okay, great. You can also use that as a case study. I'm going to archive this. And we move on. Sorry for that. So that's actually something that I found very interesting as well. Skills and confidence are often highlighted as key barriers to better utilization of people data. 67% feel confident in basic analysis, and 47% feel confident in advanced analysis. The way we define this as basic analysis is simple Excel sheets, simple data that you have readily available, whereas advanced analysis would be more the use of BI tools, MIS systems, etc. Now, to be honest with you, when it comes to populating this data, this is not something that we've taken into account. So I'm sure you will have your technical people helping you out with actually populating the data that you are after. Once you have that, then it comes down to your skills and confidence, whether you feel confident in basic analysis and advanced analysis. So we want to ask you, on the same URL, is your talent program confident in basic analysis, which would be standard metrics, or advanced analysis, which is your business intelligence tools? So please go again on pollev.com, Pontoon S226, and choose whether you feel confident more on the basic side, or if you're already confident on the advanced side. Also pretty good result, I think. Pretty sure if you do that poll in Germany, then you get basic everyone, advanced maybe 1 or 2 people. Okay, amazing. That's a tie, not quite. Okay, I actually expect it to be the basic being much more dominant than the advanced, but that speaks for yourself, that speaks for your knowledge in this topic, to that a fair amount of people have advanced knowledge of data analytics, the talent analytics. Okay. So from data to intelligence, and this is basically the journey that is happening. And I'm going to reveal the 4 steps to to you right away. And this is my favorite slide. Talking about data, it's everywhere, it's in all publications that we read, it's in all internal memos that we get, everyone's talking about data. But what data essentially just is just information. And information is knowledge, and that knowledge leads to intelligence. And once you have intelligence, then you start making decisions. And that is a fluid journey, really. So if you are put off here by data, you're already lacking all of the rest of that journey. So don't be too scared about all these words and all these big data talk and AI talk. What you're really seeking out is information in order to gain knowledge, which then leads to intelligence, which then you can use to sell some or get some more budget from your C-suite. We're talking about how neglected the HR department is in the view of the C-suite, and I couldn't agree more. So we have one more poll here. What stage is your talent program in? And that ties in neatly with what we've just seen. So are you at that data stage where you're still trying to figure out, what am I actually going to do with this? Are you at the information stage? Are you at the knowledge stage? Or are you using already the whole journey in order to make a case for your department internally? And please go again on the Polhef website. Which stage is your talent program in? And if you're from the vendor side, maybe just think about your clients, what they, what stage they are usually in. Are you at the very early stage to figure out the data, the information stage? Have you turned that into knowledge, or have you already made a comprehensive case out of that, which is intelligence? Okay. A little bit surprising. I was expecting more on the intelligence side after everyone seemed to be quite versed in the topic. Interesting. Okay, most people are at the information stage, so I have translated the data into information, but it appears it has not been utilized to the extent where you could make a clear case for your department or for your spend or for your budget. Right, now comes myself. So Pontoon has created a platform which is called Pontoon Analytics, and in the next slide I'm going to show you how it works, and this is the only technical slide that we have really. But what Pontoon Analytics does is, we think that we are at the last stage, at the intelligence stage, and again I'll show you how we get there. But this is basically, or this is what we consider the best practice, the status quo for your talent program. You basically want to have a system where you ensure you have enough market insights, where you make sure that you can forecast properly, where you can take predictions based on data, based on experience, and not based on gut feeling, and where you have a clear understanding of your performance. And then obviously this is the biggest buzzword these days, experiences, but it is fair enough. Everyone now, all the talent in the market, especially the millennial generations that wants to have experiences, wants to engage with their talent brand, wants to make sure that they know what they are getting into. So this is what we consider the best practice of a talent analytics program. Now, Pontoon Analytics itself, how it works is, it pulls all data from our VMS and ATS platforms on site of our clients globally. Now, we obviously give clients, the chance to opt out if they have concerns about where the data goes, but it's all anonymously going into our data warehouse. And I was told that 91% of all of our clients allowing the data from the VMS and the LTS systems to come into the continuum analytics data warehouse. Then we're leveraging, obviously, a lot of data from our mother company, the Data Group, which has pretty much operations in almost every country in the world. We're plugging into external sources. I was asking our BI specialist what an example of an external source would be. We're getting a lot of research from Gartner, which is populated through the platform, and obviously public sources as well, which would be your LinkedIn, your other social media networks, etc. That all goes into the Pontoon data warehouse. We then have actual data specialists, someone like myself, who look at the data, and then when we populate it back to the clients through the platform, it is made sure that the data makes sense, that it is compared with the data. It just makes sense. Sorry, I don't know what the technical term is. So when we put the data back, we're going to make sure it's not just the raw data that we pulled out from all of our clients, but we make sure that the format is right in order to get the right comprehension from the client. That's a bit of a cheesy slide here, to be honest with you, so we're going to jump that really quick. That's just the way what the platform is like. It's basically just a web interface. It looks like Salesforce. You open it up on your browser, and I tried it out. It's very intuitive, and it was pretty good, actually. So this is our last poll for today. When you think about your talent organization, where do you pull the data from? This is obviously pretty comprehensive, so we would like to know whether you get most of your data from your applicant tracking systems or value management systems only, whether you get that from the ATS and VMSs, and a few other sources, or if you have a robust source catalog like Pontoon Analytics is. So I'm going to start the poll again. Please, one more time, go on polef.com/Pontoon. 1 second, I'm just going to change this one and activate it now. So where does your talent organization pull most of their data from? It probably is the first. No. A few others have a bit more comprehensive data. Okay, I expected that actually. I was quite happy that I was wrong for right for once. Mostly ATS or VMS systems is where your organization gets the data from, and if you have additional sources. Okay, great. Thanks for polling, everyone. Thank you. It wouldn't work if not everyone would do it. So, coming to the last bit, and this is now the workshop bit, if you will. So you've seen me going around handing out an envelope. If you want to open the envelope now, we came up with 4 scenarios, which we find are typical scenarios. And I would like you to, as a group, take 10 minutes time, if that, 5 to 10 minutes time, have a look at the business problem that we have put in that envelope. It's 4 business problems over 8 groups, so we have 2 group 1s, 2 group 2, 3 group 4s. We've got 2 blank papers underneath it. If you just want to write down what you feel like a good solution to the problem would be, and then I go around with the mic and you can share your ideas with us.
Tracking just like one of the students who said his favorite is use the data and then transform it information. So it's kind of step by step. I think this is how we can achieve the level of science. Probably you have the company is not artificial. And also it would be a very scary surprise for this kind of talent that you need to reach out. So how to reach out to them and whether they accept your company offer is another issue. So I think these two will be the key challenge. So
I think it is because use what is positive within the company, and I don't know, maybe if the company is good at managing the data stage for everyone, then I would suggesting like this is what our company is doing. We use our employee engagement
Or you just need
people are happy. We have all these stats that show that people are very happy working at a high level of high level of retention. That's why we don't
that's the important part of the company, even if you're reaching out to the right candidate, if the candidate is not interested in your company, they will just reject it. So I think focusing on the company's profile, high side, low side, definitely
possibly for this people will have to sit together in a career proposition to attract them, like sort of like quite different from the mainstream stuff. So might have to come up with something creative and career framework in order to then as a basis of developing branding, promotions and advertising strategy. But I think back to the question about yes, to your point, this is what you never really provide something. These are people who have joined us as a percentage have now but I guess from a talent acquisition point of view, then first of all you need to identify where these people are. So definitely you need some market intelligence.
Market intelligence, like which company would have those type of employees.
Yes.
So they have to check out the possible companies.
Yes. So
The supplier, we have to find out the suppliers. I think graduate is one source. I think this one can hire because as an engineer, so it should be some targeted company. So we may have to use some data.
And where they come from, right?
Example, what type of background, education background, what type of experience or company they used to work in, and then we do some searching. And I think the quick one would be just type the same title in the LinkedIn, and then some candidate name come up.
So that's like a map case.
Yes, and then we look at those candidate background, whether it match or criteria. So I think the sourcing part is important to have some data for us to kickstart the search.
Yeah, and also we can engage in conversation with some external recruiters to get some insight from them, like from competitors looking up and things.
I think nowadays it's I would say it's more easy than old days because of those networking.
Yes, American.
Yeah, you can reach out, you can do some searching. In the old day, you never be able to do it, right?
Yes. First of all, you need to have sort of like a platform that contains those massive data in order to come up with something unique.
First, we need some master data for personalized information with LinkedIn or some job board. Yeah, you can get master data. And also, we need to analyze it for our data from the company or from
Or just as many as you like, one or none. Yeah, so we really just interested you in
Okay, it looks like most have finished up. So if you're still pondering about if you understood that, and I'm just going to approach the first table to see whether or not they want to show their answers with us. So let's start with group one. Who is group one? You guys want to share what you came up with? Okay, great. So let me read out the question quick again. Your team will be hiring cybersecurity engineers at massive scale soon, yet your company reputation in IT space is relatively unknown. How do you leverage analytics to better position yourself in the market?
So we just looked at all the different sources of analytics that we might want to look at to then better position ourselves. And we didn't just think about how to better position ourselves with candidates, we also thought about the influencing that we might need to do internally as well. So we want to get market data, we want to look at supply and demand of cybersecurity engineers, not just at a local level but also globally, because we felt that we may need to import talent. We want to look at competitor analysis, who else is hiring these people, where are they hiring them, what are they paying them, if we can get that information. We wanted to look at salary information to observe whether we could afford to buy them or whether we needed to influence internally around what we might need to pay. We wanted to look at our brand perception, so looking at things like Glassdoor and understanding what people in this group would think about us, whether that's Glassdoor or other local platforms. We want to think about source channels, so where do we find them? Where should we advertise? Where should we be hanging out? And a lot of the time when you talk about cybersecurity, it's more about networking, so how do we network, how do we build relationships with these folks? We want to understand what our own EVP was for these individuals. And then we also want to think about how they would like to be engaged back to do these people want to work as permanent employees, contractors? And by utilising all of that information, obviously we're building up a picture of how difficult it might be to recruit them, what sort of investment we might need to make and how we go about that sourcing activity. But importantly, we also felt that we needed to use a lot of this intelligence to influence HR, influence the business, to get them to think about, potentially about doing things differently to the way they might be done today. We potentially need to talk to people about global mobility internally and thinking about what do we need to do to bring people to the work rather than just assuming we can find them in our market. And we even thought about using this information to influence our own marketing teams, our brand teams, about how do we then take the message for an organisation that doesn't really work in IT but needs to hire IT folks. How do we change or flex the message we might have about our own value proposition out to the marketplace to make sure that we can actually bring those people in.
Right, round of applause.
Thanks, so comprehensive. Who else was group one? No? I thought me two. Right, let me change to the group two. Group two. The business problem was, or is, your contingent program only measures key program-wide metrics. However, you believe that metrics for the entire program do not show the whole picture and that the hiring processes are outdated and should be reviewed. Using talent analytics, what are some points you'd use to make a business case to change the current company process? Who was group two? Who would like to share? Oh, yeah, that's right. Right.
Thank you. So group two, we have myself, so it's Michelle Long from Richmond. We've got Nan Chan and Doris from Smith and Nephew. Correct. Yeah. Okay, so on this topic, what we came up with, we focus on the hiring process, right? What are the metrics you want to present to change the current company process? We'll look at best practices outside from the marketplace, what some of other companies are doing, whether or not they are our direct competitors or not our direct competitors. We'll look at that. We'll also look at a market data on talents in the market. So what that means is for that particular role, the hiring, how easy or how difficult it is to hire such talents. So recently, actually, LinkedIn, I'm not from LinkedIn by the way, actually launched something called Talent Insights. So that's been very helpful for myself also, talking to hiring manager, educating them about the number of talents in the marketplace, the ratio male to female, just to educate them so they know what they're getting into. What else? We will also look at sourcing channels. We'll share that with hiring managers. And also, we'll get feedback from the market, on that particular role.
How?
So for us is we get it from recruiting firms that we work with, so they give very honest and open feedback. We will also look at, social media, different platforms that people do sharing.
All right, amazing, thank you.
Brennan will also be shared as well.
The second group too, do they want to share as well? No? Okay. Let's go to group 3. Leadership has launched a cost savings initiative across all lines of business. Each department must find 10% cost savings, 10 acquisitions already running. A lean program must find where savings can be made. How can analytics help here? I'm sure 90% of everyone who is in talent acquisition has experienced this before. Where do we have group 3? In the back, hold on. Oh. What's your name? Well, say it again. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Sukriti. Both of us are from India. That's my colleague Eugene. So for this particular question that leadership has launched a cost savings initiative, we feel that there are a couple of things because we ourselves are undergoing these issues on a day-to-day basis. So some of the things that we think that can be good, which we do also plan to consider while we tackle this problem, are some of the things that we would want to do is department-wise, we would want to consider the recruitment sources effectiveness. Because a lot of companies do have these kind of issues, is that you have a set number of agencies or recruitment channels or platforms which everyone uses company-wide, especially in bigger or larger firms. But necessarily all agencies or all recruitment sources are not effective if we look at different job functions. So job functions-wise, the effectiveness varies. So we want to make sure that through analytics, we are able to identify certain agencies and sources which are good job functions-wise, and to be able to streamline our jobs and to be able to promote our jobs in that particular areas only and not across the entire gamut of different agencies or recruitment sources, so as to save cost by doing the right kind of advertising or sponsoring our jobs in the correct channels. That is one of the things that does come to our mind when we think about cost savings. Another thing when we talk about cost savings is time to hire. One thing that we, because we are at the start of our digital journey, and since we have a new HRMS, we do plan to start looking at the time to hire on each particular step of the hiring process, not just the entire hiring process, so that we know that exactly at what step is there a roadblock, at exactly what step is taking more amount of time compared to the others, so that we're able to do a deeper dive. So to be able to do analytics around the entire hiring process, stage by stage, to be able to determine which particular area is taking more time, why is it taking more time. That is an area that we think people analytics can help a lot. Another of the areas that we feel that analytics really helps in terms of doing cost savings is because a lot the way everything industries are changing, everything is disrupting nowadays. Companies are changing at a faster rate than we can imagine. The jobs and skills in different departments that we thought were good and this were the actual roles and requirements of this job, changes within 2 years instead of 10 years or 5 years down the line. So when everything around us is changing that fast, we want to be able to make sure that we're doing workforce planning properly. We want to be able to make sure that departments and businesses are coming back, because departments at their level are also doing analytics, and when business is doing analytics, they're able to analyze their needs well beforehand and reach out to us well beforehand, so that we are prepared to provide them with the workforce that they require. So that we have done that kind of analysis beforehand. These are the new niche roles that we require to hire. These are the new niche roles that we need to look out in the market for, the kind of benchmarking, the kind of market intelligence required for their job descriptions, the salaries, etc. All that we're able to plan ahead for time, so that when the actual time to hire comes, the amount of time that we take in doing the hiring is much lesser than what we had anticipated. So being able to prepare well before is something that we can definitely help in possible.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up for Group 3, but the other Group 3, anything to add? Who was the second Group 3? No? Okay, cool. Coming to the last group and the last business problem. That is, your team has been tasked with hiring several contractors for a niche role, and you do not have a current supplier that has the capability. You reach out to your MSP for support. What are some key data points that the MSP should review when matching your organization with a new supplier? Just forget about the last two sentences. Let's just focus on your team has been tasked with hiring several contractors for a niche role, and you do not have the current supplier that has the capability. What do you do? Group 4. I don't know you guys were Group 4. Liza.
Hi, I'm Liza. Actually, what we're looking at would be our source, and because I believe there are quite a lot of recruitment agencies now doing contractors, and so that we don't need to cover like payroll or all the benefits. And also, when we look at how to choose a recruitment agency, I think we will look at the past success stories and whether they have a big candidate pool, and if maybe there are some references from existing customers as well. And the candidates pool would be they have the relevant experience, and also they have the local market experience. And also we look at other supplier working in the area or competitive advantage. I think basically these are the comments from my team. Yeah.
Thank you. The other Group 4, anything to add to that? Anything? Alfie?
Thank you. So first, I think there was a consensus around the table that we would just use quantum to find out. I didn't want to say that.
It's all about partners, partner.
We focus on the last sentence around the data points, etc. But so most of us were actually around the on the basis of finding out how many candidates each supplier might have for that niche skill on their database. It's as simple as that. And then going on to how many do they have engaged on assignments currently, and what's the tenure of those, and how many of those might be redeployable in the short term to our project and our work. And then really to look at the way that they source in terms of their methodologies and engagement in order to establish whether they would be able to continue to supply on an ongoing basis, and it's not just a one-off. But ultimately, I think if you ignore the key data point type bit of the sentence, we also looked at we would also look at the alternative talent engagement models beyond just another agency supplier with contractors to see what other talent pools are out there that aren't just contractors with that kind of skill set.
Comments on what you're talking about. So that's pretty much, I believe this to it. So that pretty much sums it up. I won't keep you for much longer.
we have a case study here that is from one of our RPO clients, or RXO, as Pontoon speak is. We've taken two of the non-MSP business problems we've taken from this case study. I'm not going to go too much into detail now about it. Basically, the client is it's a tech consultancy, huge tech consultancy. It's a highly data-driven client, and they had quite a transactional RPO program on site. And basically, what they've done is they aligned their RPO program to what their overall business strategy is, which is basically just using data in a smart way, turning it into information, which is knowledge, which then leads to the intelligence, which is basically our talent analytics journey. So thanks for all the responses and for being so interactive. That really helped. I was a little bit scared that nobody would interact, but it's been an amazing group. The next slide is, do you want to learn more? I have absolutely no idea how you're supposed to learn more with this polling website. So if you want to learn more, just come to me and take a name card. I think that's the easiest way. Yeah, it says Q&A on top, obviously, as well. Are there any more questions that I'd be keen to try to answer? Okay, amazing. So thank you very much. Sorry for the bumpy ride. Again, I'm fairly new to Pontoon, and I'm looking forward to kind of catch up with you all over a glass of wine later on, or water. Thank you.
Freddie. Thank you. All right. So we have a short break to grab a coffee or tea as we just do a quick little change up on the stage here. We've got a last session before the awards and cocktail reception, and really pleased to have a session on employer branding. Tomorrow morning, if you look at the program, we're going to focus on employer branding over breakfast and talk a little bit about what that means. And the importance of that and the role that is taken in some of the service providers that are working with HR today. So we're going to touch on that this afternoon in a great session. So give us about 15 minutes, grab a coffee or tea, we'll set the stage, get them set up with their technology, and see you back here in just 15 minutes for a great interactive session on employer branding.
Oh yes, nice to that's Michelle. Good? Yes. I lost my coffee. Yeah, get a coffee to
Sort of. When looking back in the break, just before I was running a video, the video, see that video? I'll just put that video, I'll let you know, just as people are coming in from break. Yeah. Just as they're coming in. So,